Week 9 Sunday recap, BTO Media, Kevin Bunk, Michael Merlo coming to you. The Burrows ended yesterday for the baseball regular season, postseason, really just the season. More offseason content coming further down the line with that show, but the two of us returning every Sunday, 7:30 for the Sunday recap. Remember, when a game ends, 4:25 game ends, the only thing until primetime is the Sunday recap. So thanks for tuning in, Mike. We start Miami at Buffalo. Good day of football overall, but this might have been the best game. What'd you think here?
This is the best game. It's funny, Miami is known for being frauds, right? And losing to the better opponents, the teams with the winning records. But for whatever reason, they go to Buffalo seemingly every season and play them tough. Tua's had success there. Today, they move the ball. They're in the game late, and they lose on a 60-yard field goal from Bass. So, I think the Bills are just continue week to week. They're kind of doing it quietly right now, but they are one of the top 2 teams, 3 teams in the AFC and really in the league. I mean, the 4 top teams, and we're going to get to this, Detroit's there, and then it's 3 AFC teams, right? Just the 3 AFC teams, that the top 3 there, the juggernaut. So impressive win for Buffalo, able to stage off a comeback there from Miami, and, just doing a good job as always, Josh Allen.
Yeah, speaking of Allen, Buffalo at times, this is where I run into a concern with them. They do feel so one-dimensional, like such a one-man team on offense with Allen. I don't know if that keeps up, but you have to look at the Chiefs and Ravens this year and say, for the first time really since 2021, Buffalo is right there. Like, they're really right there with these teams, even if it is just a one-man show. But quick point on Miami before we get into Buffalo for the rest of this game.
Yeah.
Tua looked good. First real good Tua game, a little shaky last week. Tua looked good. The offense looked good, but they really blew it here with the backup quarterback situation, not being able to pick up a win without Tua they picked up the one win against the Patriots, but not being able to keep themselves in contention going into this game. They just literally needed just one more win to make you feel good about their situation right now.
How about even winning last week with Tua at home, blowing that game to Arizona?
Blowing that game was huge. It just feels like they are in a position where they're going to win 6 or 7 games at least this year. But now playoffs feel out the window after this loss today.
Playoffs are out the window, and now you have to start asking yourself, and I'm not saying Waddle or obviously Tua or even Hill, they're on the market, but you have to start asking any veteran on this team, whether they're on defense, they have to be open for a trade here. Somebody's going to come calling this week at 2-6. And I would expect Miami to answer the phone and make a trade for a couple of these veterans, whether on expiring contracts or a year out. I would expect Miami to do some dealing this week.
My biggest takeaway, though, from the game is maybe a pat ourselves on the back moment, and it's not this crazy, incredible take. Mike, there was never a race in the AFC East. There really wasn't. Before the season started, during the season, today, there was never a race for the AFC East. It was always Buffalo. Now they have the big gap because, let's face it, the Jets, Dolphins, they were never winning this division, man. They never, ever were. And we know the Jets now in hindsight, it's this like failure, but they were never winning 11, 12 games and having a tiebreaker over Buffalo. And Buffalo was always going to win that many games.
I do question the coach, man. Everything else about Buffalo, the defense seems sound. They've dealt with injuries all year. They figured things out. I don't really worry about their defense too much. I know that was a big concern coming in. We all also worried about the wide receivers. They have Cooper. Shakir's a really nice player. They have both tight ends. And obviously Cook has turned into a star here in this season. So the only worry I have is the coach. He makes some boneheaded decisions. He does. Are you watching the Rams game? Because I don't have it on, and I have the Rams. I really need the Rams here.
4th and 5 from the 42-yard line. Smith just completed a 25-yard pass to Njigba.
Oh my God!
Let's see if it's definitely going to stand. So Seattle's in the red zone, just under a minute left. That's a big game, man. Because besides your Rams pick, the winner of this game is in prime position.
Driver's seat in the division.
Make the run in the NFC West. We'll talk about that game later, though. But, Buffalo.
My God.
And with McDermott, the upper hand that he has, at least in the division race, Seattle touchdown. 51 seconds left, and Njigba touchdown. Still 51 seconds, though. Rams have a timeout. Seattle's got to make the kick unless they go for 2. They're not going to with 51 seconds. But what a game, dude. That was a serious throw. serious pair of throws by Geno on 4th down and on 1st down from the 19.
Brutal.
On the other end of both of them. Buffalo with McDermott, the upper hand that he always had. I think that we all question McDermott to a certain extent, but I know for a fact before this season, and it's been so confirmed now, he is way better than Saleh and Mayo. That's obviously proven.
Yeah.
And I definitely think he's better than Mike McDaniel.
You think he's better than McDaniel? I feel like
do.
McDaniel's been dealt a really tough hand this season.
I think
don't
this
know.
season he has been, but even the last 2 years, I'm not in a position where I think McDaniel is elite or even top 10 for sure. You know,
Do you question? The only question I would have with him is, can he win games against the better opponent?
Yeah, and I think, well, there's two sides to that argument, because one, I think I trust McDermott to win big games more, but two, I trust Allen to win them more than Tua. So is that a reflection of the coaches, or is that a reflection of the quarterbacks, or both?
I think Allen's doing everything in spite of his coach. I really do think the coach holds him back.
Okay, so
I mean, even today, Kevin, this is just a slight example. They score a touchdown at a half. It's 10-6, and they go for 2 instead of just making it a 3-point game, getting it.
Yeah.
Instead, they go and try and make it a 4-point game. Then, I mean, obviously, it doesn't matter in the end. They ended up getting a 2-pointer anyway. But Miami went down the field and kicked the field goal and took the lead. So,
yeah,
like, it just, I question a lot of his decision.
A lot of boneheaded decisions. I put the two of them, McDaniel, McDermott, in the same tier of winning coaches, but maybe not championship coaches.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, let's move to the next game. Dallas at Atlanta. You want to talk about a guy who's not a championship head coach, Mike McCarthy. Bad loss which is ironic because I know he has the ring. But at this stage, I mean, this team is not good. And a lot of it is the morning show on Monday morning headline is Prescott. I know he left the game with the hamstring injury, but their playmakers are so bad, Mike. And what were we thinking with Ezekiel Elliott this offseason? The guy doesn't even show up to meetings, doesn't travel with the team today. That was the running back you sign? Oh, this was a disaster offseason for them.
It's a disaster offseason, and they just did everything backwards. There was a scenario in which they could have afforded upgrades at wide receiver while still paying these guys. I do have to say this. I had made this take a little bit earlier in the later in the offseason, but just in terms of like who you're going to keep, I think I think they have to trade Parsons. I do. I think not here, obviously, but in the offseason, you got to get some picks. You got to stockpile this roster with some younger talent and better players. They just have serious issues all over the field. They don't have enough weapons. You're 100% right. And I almost feel bad for CeeDee Lamb. He's such a good football player. But, at the end of the day, you can't do it on your own. And I like Dak, but it's an inconsistent quarterback, especially with what he's dealing with here.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm there on the Parsons thing, but I'm not going to say no way. We'll see where we are in the offseason. But Dak has nothing to work with here. Lamb, if you double him, he's going to have a good game, but you can't win that way. And the second best player on the offense at the skill positions is Jake Ferguson, who
he's a fine player.
Good tight end. Should be your fourth or fifth best skill player on a contender.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Mike, seriously, though, what was the thought process at running back? Jerry Jones can say all day and all week long, well, we didn't have the money. Yes,
offensive line. They're going to win with their offensive line. That's what it was going to be. And you had, 3 backs. Who do they have? Dowdle.
Dowdle's solid, too. He's not like an end-of-the-world running back, but he's not good.
No, if you're competing for a championship, which that was the expectation coming into the year, right? Nobody expected them to be a lesser team. They were expected to compete for this division. They're bad. Kevin, they're a really bad football team. They're not the worst in their division, but they're bad. And by the way, let's give Atlanta some credit. They're figuring things out on offense. They keep getting better. I do like where Atlanta is. They have some really good playmakers there. So I think Atlanta's going to win this division. Could they win a playoff game? I think out of any NFC South team that we've seen in the past couple of years. They're better than anybody we've seen. Even Tampa last year, winning a playoff game and almost beating Detroit.
Yeah, this is my next point, so I want to get to Atlanta. Are they? I mean, Cousins has been really good. It's starting to come together with the skill players and Cousins. The chemistry's starting to get there. The defense is good. It's got a lot of talent on. I think they keep getting better also. But are they a legitimate NFC contender? You look through, I think they can beat any of the teams in the East. But with that being said, I think the Eagles, I think the Commanders could also beat the Falcons. And I think that they can beat any of the teams in the West. Once again, though, any of the teams in the West can beat the Falcons. And with the exception of the Lions, they can beat the Packers or Vikings. So
right now,
there's a real contender.
There's nobody, I think, in the NFC that could beat Detroit at the moment. We're going to get to that, obviously. I think everybody else is fair game. They can absolutely beat Washington. They could beat Philadelphia. Philadelphia, I mean, almost blows a game against the lowly Jaguars today. So I think Atlanta can pretty much compete, especially offensively, with any team in the NFC. Now you move to the AFC, and we got some trouble there for them.
All right, I wanted to talk about this game, even though it's not going to be a very popular one.
You're ahead of me, so don't say it.
Not going to be a really popular one. Dable and the Giants lose another division game at home.
What a good throw. There is nobody else I'd rather have other than Patrick Mahomes going down the field. 50 seconds, one timeout. I need a field goal. I sound like my guy Colin Cowherd. Nobody I'd rather have, even though he's going to get bailed out with another penalty here than Matt Stafford. Come on, Matty. Come on.
All right, so Giants lose to the Commanders. Real mood killer.
That'll kill it.
I think we exchanged text this morning about how Dable leads this game. It ends up being a fairly close game, but you never thought the Giants were going to win at any point after the first couple drives.
Yeah.
I think this is a bad loss for Dable and just the home field advantage or disadvantage for the Giants is so pathetic.
They picked up the flag here, which is tough. The Matty Stafford rant, but you know what, Kevin? This was a game I felt as though they needed to compete in. I talked about that. I texted you this morning, and Daboll and Shane are now 4-12-1 against NFC East opponents. Okay, 4-12-1 against NFC East opponents. It is absolutely pathetic what this team has done. And let's say this: Daniel Jones today, they looked so good running the football. Good running the football. And then anytime he had to throw it, they looked like a college football team. I've had it. Enough. Let's go. Put in Tommy DeVito. Okay. Let's start the tank. You need to lose in Germany this week. You need to lose in Germany this week for Cam Ward. Okay. We're already there. It's November 3rd. Lose this week. I never do this early. Officially rooting against my team. The Giants need to lose out.
See, I'm anti-tank. I don't think fans should root for tanks.
They need it. They need
it.
We've never needed a change at a position more than in this city. Other than maybe a new owner with the Jets.
Yeah.
Never needed a bigger change than the quarterback here.
Well,
Kevin, they don't look right. Things don't look right. I'm the biggest Daboll defender out there. I wouldn't be able to argue against firing him, and I want to keep him. But if you told me they fired him tomorrow and they're not going to, I'd say there's really not much to back it up.
Yeah. They have grounds to fire him. They have grounds to get rid of Dable, to get rid of Jones. Every time I hear Daniel Jones, the year 6 comment, every time I hear year 6, I just say, how? How are we in the 6th year of this? Because teams all around the league are moving on from quarterbacks in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th year. And Mike, there is the argument of, well, teams shouldn't do that. Name me a guy that gets moved on in year 2 or 3 in the last 10 seasons, and in year 4 with their new team, they are all of a sudden great.
Right.
The closest example I will accept is Baker Mayfield.
That's Browns, 4 years after, a year after.
Exactly. The Browns totally botched the trade with Watson, which makes it worse, but moving on from Mayfield at that time and trying to upgrade didn't feel crazy. How are the Giants the team with this guy of all people? This guy has not been great enough. I know the playoff win but this guy has not been great enough to be the only team sticking with a quarterback like this.
Right. So I think just for principle, and I texted this to a buddy today, just for the principle of it, even if he does give you the best chance to win, you have to bench him. You have to give the fans something. You can't give them anything on the field because you're so bad. So give us the fact that we don't have to watch this guy anymore. I would rather watch the cool story from the kid from New Jersey or Drew Lock trying to make something of himself, throw 3 interceptions a game, and give us Cam Ward. Please, for the love of God, just bench the guy. Just bench him. You know Daboll wants to do it. You know Daboll deep down cannot stand this quarterback.
Yeah.
They have to do it.
And this is where Daboll and Joe Schoen have to get together tomorrow morning. And they have to say, I know we paid this guy $40 million, but if there is a backup quarterback here that gives us a better chance at winning, it may save us our job and give us a chance at the new guy. We need to take the L on the extension. We have to. Choosing Jones over Barkley, we need to take the L on. And I'm not saying they should have signed Barkley, but that was the decision on the extension. It was Jones or Barkley. They gave it to Jones. At the time, I would have done the same. But you have to accept it. You got to eat it. And if Tommy DeVito gives you a better chance to win games, if Drew Lock gives you a better chance to win games, go do it. The problem, Mike, I don't think either of them even do.
I think I don't do what? Think he gives them a better chance to win or would actually bench him?
No, I don't think that either of them give a better chance to win, but at the same time, I don't know if they give you a higher probability of losing either.
Let me ask you this. Tom, listen, I'm not here to defend Tommy DeVito, okay? I mean, Jesus Christ, the guy cost us Drake May and Jaden Daniels last season, okay? So I'm not going to sit here and defend the guy, but go back and watch some of those games late last season with no Andrew Thomas. Those games late last season with less talent on the outside, Tommy DeVito looked better than Daniel Jones has with no Andrew Thomas through 2 games. That's a fact. Tommy DeVito beat a team that should have been in the NFC Championship game at home, okay? These are facts here. So, I don't know. I feel like you give a vanilla offense to Tommy DeVito, he probably gives you a better chance to win, but you don't want to win. That's got to be the objective here. Look better, but don't win.
Yeah, and show that Daboll can run an offense, restore the faith in the locker room, because I don't care what John Mara says in week 7 of the NFL season. If they completely lose the locker room here and the season ends at 4-13, you're not coming back.
You know who I want off the team? You know who I want off the team? Very random.
Who?
I want Darius Slayton gone. I hope they trade him. He's in concussion protocol. I hope they just trade Darius Slayton. I can't.
They should, because you could probably get a day 3 pick. You could definitely get a day 3 pick.
You get a 5th or 6th round pick for him
from a team in contention that wants. Like, you think the Chiefs wouldn't take a flyer on?
Of course, he's open a lot. He just drops the ball.
Exactly, and he's deep threat. But yeah, Giants, just another discouraging.
Sorry
game
for spending too much time on the Giants.
Yeah. We'll move on here to the game of the week and make up for it. Green Bay hosted Detroit today, and this was supposed to be kind of the NFC 1 seed game, I felt, going into it. You know, the winner of this game is the best team in the NFC, and Green Bay was totally overmatched at home. Totally overmatched.
Kevin, I can't really put my finger on it here, but this team is so dominant, I can't figure it out. I can't figure out what Vegas is doing. You know how much money I've lost betting against this team? You know how much money I've lost betting against
What was
Detroit?
the line in today's game?
It was 2.5. It was 3 for a while, and then it went down to 2.5, and I took it at 2.5. And Kevin, it is shocking to me that Vegas hasn't caught on yet to how good this football team is. They're well coached, they're disciplined, their defense continues to get better. All in all, I don't understand what's going on. They got to trade for a pass rusher. But Kevin, this is the only team that can beat one of those 3 teams in the AFC. The only team. And I think they'd give them a game. I think they'd give Baltimore a serious game. That would probably be the best game of the year. I think they'd give Kansas City a game. And Buffalo, I think they'd probably beat Buffalo.
Yeah, I would say they'd beat Buffalo. I think they'd beat Baltimore. I think they'd beat Kansas City. I think they're the best team in the league right now. And considering that the game would be at a neutral site in the Super Bowl, not at Arrowhead, I like Detroit to beat anyone in the league. They you know how I feel about Brad Holmes and the team that he's built. I've
Yep.
said now for 2 years, Brad Holmes is the best general manager in the NFL. He is building through the draft as well as anybody. The supplementary free agent signings have been very nice. They have, first of all, I'm going to just go back 3 years here.
Yep.
Dan Campbell gets hired first, and we all kind of think,
Laugh.
this is a joke. They have no other option. They have to do this. Then they have to trade Stafford for Jared Goff, who is just totally dead in his career based on the fact that McVay is done with him. And he comes to the Lions. They start out 0-9. I think 0-9-1 through the first 10 weeks before they got a win. Or maybe it was even more games. Maybe like 0-12. And everyone is just laughing at them the whole season.
But it was fun. It was fun.
It was fun. And when they won that game against Minnesota, it was awesome. That was a feel-good bad team.
Yeah.
And then the next year, they missed the playoffs. They were the first team out, and they won that huge franchise-altering Week 18 game at Lambeau Field.
Yep.
Or it was Week 17. They knew they weren't getting in because the 4 o'clock games didn't go their way, and they came out and knocked the Packers out at Lambeau.
That was big.
Huge franchise-altering game. Aaron Rodgers' final game as a Packer. Now look at this team. Jared Goff has been awesome. He runs this offense perfect as to what Ben Johnson wants. They have at every single position a player better than their opponent. They win at every spot on the field, and there's not a better team.
Goff doesn't have to do much. And it's not a knock on Goff. It's just that they're not asking Jared Goff to do much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very their running game, their offensive line, they have weapons everywhere. They're not even using the tight end that much this season. Laporta's had a quiet year. Now, again, the questions have always been defensively, but they're good in the secondary. They make plays. They tackle well. The only thing they're missing right now, and it sucks that Hutchinson's down because he was having a defensive player of the year caliber season. The only thing they're missing is a pass rusher, and there's a couple of guys. I think they're going to get one. I'm 100. Now, they're not going to get, obviously, one of the big names, but they're going to get somebody to rush the passer, Kevin. Maybe 2 guys, a couple of backups to just kind of supplement pieces through and not have so many guys be tired. But they dominated this team. Did not look like this was a 1-seed game today.
No.
On the road, Jared Goff can't play outdoors, can't play in bad weather. That's been my reasoning for betting against him outdoors. Mm-hmm. Didn't play that well today, but he didn't need to because of how good the team is.
Yep. He is so the whole thing is working perfectly. And on the other side of things, I just have one gripe with the Packers, really. I'll give you 2. I think that the Packers really do need another downfield threat on this team. They're missing. What just happened?
They stopped them on 4th down. They went for it on 4th instead of kicking the field goal.
Oh my God. Walker got stuffed.
Let's go.
I would have went for it too there, but
I don't know if I would have went for it.
I think I would have because I hate going up by 3 in overtime after the first drive. But the Packers, I think they need one more downfield threat. Their offense lacks something that I really
They don't
need.
have a 1. They don't have a 1.
They don't have a 1, but also I wish that there was a better change of pace option with Jacobs. That could be an issue that could help out the Packers a lot. I don't know. They just there's a lot to be desired, but at the same time,
what's very scary about them? Sorry to cut you off. You know what's very scary about them? If Love plays clean football and doesn't turn the football over, this is going to sound like a crazy statement. There's not a team in the league that can beat them.
There's not. And that's where I was going to go. Oh, wow. What a play. That's where I was going to go with my next point was Love is getting a little too reckless for me. And today, I don't think it was entirely too bad, but he almost turned the ball over late I don't know if you were watching, and Brady was complaining about it when he rolled out, scrambled to the sideline on 2nd and 1 in the red zone. And just throw it away. Just get rid of it. Love, there's not a throw on the field that he doesn't think he can make. And we saw that in the San Fran playoff game last year when he lost them the game, throwing just an egregious pass over the middle off platform. And I don't know, man. Love is like the change from just watching the Packers with Aaron Rodgers when you knew they weren't going to turn the ball over ever to now Love is guaranteed at least 1 a game.
Yeah, it's concerning. It is. But again, he's so talented. They're going to have to live with it. They also paid him, so they certainly have to live with it. Again, there isn't somebody I'd rather have than Matthew Stafford. All I need is a field goal. I love him. I absolutely love Matthew Stafford.
I do too.
He's so good. But
he is awesome.
But is that a bad comp? Big arm, early in their career, they're reckless, can make every throw, thinks they can make every throw. I mean, he's playing hobbled right now. Stafford always played hobbled because he played on such a terrible franchise and they never put any protection
That's not the worst
around him.
comp.
Is that a terrible comp?
No, it's not that bad. I think Stafford's a way more natural thrower than, Love and a lot of other guys that are really good. And that checks out. Obviously, top recruit in college.
Yeah.
Goes to Georgia, number one pick. But as far as play style, I mean, Love can definitely turn into the same kind of style. Stafford, it's just the way he throws the ball is just beautiful.
So with Love, they're locked into him, man. It's really bad when you're considering saying, hey, does Malik Willis run LaFleur's offense very vanilla? Does he run it better than Love?
I'll confirm for you that you in no way, shape, or form are saying Love is bad or Willis is a better
No, of course not. But right now, Love's banged up. Don't say that.
Oh, my God.
Let's go!
What a catch and throw.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Stafford, baby, let's go!
What a catch. What a throw.
That is remarkable.
All right, next game on the rundown is Chicago, Arizona. Let's go right to Rams, Seattle here, which just ended. Demarcus Robinson catches a bomb one-handed from Stafford. Great games. LA in the driver's seat, man.
This is the division winner. I said it on Hardline. If they beat the Vikings, they're going to win the division. They win against Minnesota. They come to Seattle, beat them. Frauds, by the way. Absolute frauds.
Oh, dude, what are they 1-5 now since starting 0-3?
That is remarkable. Remarkable.
Woolen cooked. Terrible man corner.
What a play. They're going to win the division. They have, Kevin, remember, when they had nobody playing, they beat the 49ers somehow at home. Yep. They have the tiebreaker over San Francisco. McVay plays well against them. I think this team's going to win. I think this team's going to win the division.
What a great grab.
No Puka in the second half because he punched somebody in the face.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this no matter what. That's a real stupid move. I get heat of the moment. We've all been there, but I mean, your team really needs you. Puka's a guy that the Rams really need on the field in these games. That is a great finish. Game of the day right there.
Game of the day. Unbelievable.
Best win if we started earlier. Best win would have been Rams for me.
That's like my biggest winner of the day. They were my 3-star pick. I went 3-0 on the 3 stars. I'm 5-1 in my last 2 weeks. I said I was getting back into the race. That's 6 stars right there.
You're back.
Again, that's a big that's a big win for the division. They're gonna win this division, and I cannot believe I'm gonna be right. I'm never right.
You're never ever right. You're right twice this week, though. What were you right about yesterday on Burrows?
Oh,
about what? You unplugged for a moment there. Yeah, you got a quick unplug. For a moment, Mike will be back. Got right, got excited. And now setting himself back up here.
My mic went out.
Mic went out, yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
Dude, the weirdest thing, a gunshot goes off in my head. StreamYard tells me your mic's unplugged. Nothing unplugged.
What?
Nothing unplugged.
That is very odd.
It was the weird. I literally thought like somebody was shot in the house just now.
Do you want to go double check?
What?
Do you want to go double check?
No, I'm
all right, good win for the Rams there. What else do I have on that? All right, Seattle's offense. They had a great drive at the end with Njigba, but this another offense that is just leaving a lot to be desired when you look at the names all over at the skill positions. I know the offensive line isn't excellent, but since starting 3-0, you feel like this offense is not where it should be at all. And Mike McDonald's done a nice job so far, I guess, kept them competitive, kept them relevant. It was possible that they weren't good this year because their defense wasn't great going into the offseason, but losing Pete Carroll after all that time, possible to take the big regression, but they just have been so disappointingly average, especially after the 3-0 start. But look at the teams they beat in those first 3 weeks. What was it? It was New England, Denver. Before Denver got anything going, they were awful the first couple of weeks. And then I forget who the other game was. Let me check.
New England, Denver.
New England,
wasn't it
Denver.
Miami with nobody?
Oh, yeah, Miami with Skylar Thompson.
Yeah.
So, very unimpressive 3-0 start. Now we're seeing their true colors. This team just doesn't feel like they're good.
They're not good. And inexperienced coach. I think the coach will be fine, but they're just not. They're like a middle of the pack team. That's all they are. They're nothing special, and I don't think they can win this division. Again, look, I think the Cardinals might even be better than this team. No?
So right now the standings are 5-4 Cardinals in first place, Rams in second at 4-4. They have the tiebreaker over the 4-4 Niners. Seahawks 4-5. We'll kind of just merge our Cardinals Bears conversation in here because Arizona, they have this tendency of you're either getting a really great display of offense where it's coming from so many different places. I think we saw a little bit of that today. Their defense won them the game, though. But I think we saw a little bit of it today where, no one guy is really dominating in the Cardinals offense, but McBride plays well, Harrison plays well, Wilson plays well, Connor plays well, and I don't even think Wilson had a catch today, but it's just this ensemble of skill players while around Kyler Murray play well. And it really all falls on Kyler at the end of the day. Is he able to get them the ball or not? But they might be better than Seattle at this point because they do have a bunch of different ways to win on offense. Seattle has not shown me that.
And it's like Kyler, like you look at the stat line today and it's not very good. But I think the fear of what Kyler could possibly do now opens everything up for everybody else. So yeah, offensively, this team has been rolling. Defensively, that was the big question. They played well against the Bears, who I have serious questions about now the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
Coming off the bye, going into the bye looking good, coming out of the bye looking poorly. They were a decent-sized play for me today and absolutely disappointing out of them. So I definitely have some questions there.
No, their offense is incredibly concerning. Rome Odunze, the one silver lining to it, but this is another team similar to Dallas this year at the running back position where I'm questioning your offseason big time. The second they signed DeAndre Swift, I questioned it in a big way. I think everybody kind of did if you've watched Swift play. He's just not really an exceptional back. He's not very good. He's not a workhorse. He's turned into more of a change of pace if you want it, or he feels like the running back that usually is on a team that ends up with the first overall pick. Obviously not going to be the case with Chicago, but their whole offense has been a little disappointing, man. DJ Moore, not very consistently involved here. Keenan Allen has been almost a no-show this season.
And they got to get Odunze going. I mean, he's so talented. He had a decent game today. He's such a talented receiver. How have you not gotten him going yet?
Yeah, there's a couple weeks of 100-plus yards. Today was one of those, but a lot of times I watch and I feel like Caleb's just forcing him the ball. It's not really coming too naturally.
Right.
Today I thought there was a case of that, forcing him the football. But when you have those three receivers plus Cole Kmet, you should be able to get a lot or create a lot more easy completions for Caleb. And I do not see that with the Bears.
Yeah. The best thing for them is going to be missing the postseason and then having to fire these coaches and getting a real coach in here. That's going to be the best thing. That's all I can say. That's all I can say with them.
We all saw the report this week about Ben Johnson, wanted the Chicago job. Is it still as appealing after a year of some offensive struggles? I think he's
sitting there saying, you know what I would do with this guy and those weapons and having that defense. You would have a serious competition for the next 10 years plus.
Yeah.
Of 5 years plus, I'll say, with Detroit and Green Bay in them.
Yeah, and that would bring up the question in the offseason of will Detroit let Johnson even interview for this job while he's under contract? That's a whole other conversation. But one more game I want to get to. I didn't even ask you to get to it. Eagles-Jaguars, one simple question. Are you concerned about the Eagles after they almost lose this game?
No, I mean, again, they looked so dominant early, and then they kind of just have this thing where they have this really bad head coach, and they make stupid plays at stupid times, and they make stupid decisions, and they let teams back in the game. That's exactly what they did here. So their talent's gonna have to take them over the edge, I think. Because again, the coaching's not good. So if they have the talent to get them over the edge, I think they're going to be fine. And Jacksonville stinks.
Yeah. All right. Fair points there. I'm good on the rest of this Sunday night game. What do you think of this? Colts at Vikings.
Interesting. I'm a Flacco guy, so I'd like to see Flacco cover the spread here and then do some things.
Yeah. All right. Then tomorrow, Bucks Chiefs. Did the Chiefs take their first L?
No.
All right. So we will see you. I agree with that. So Bucks will win. We will see you next week, 7:30, same time for week 10. Make sure to stay tuned this week for some scheduling updates. Coast to Coast Basketball will be replacing the Burrows. That'll be with myself and Gabe talking NBA all season long. And the Burrows will not be just going away until the end of March. It will be making its appearances during the offseason. Huge offseason coming up, of course, in baseball, especially for the Yankees and Mets. So we will continue to discuss the Burrows and have episodes popping up. But for now, thanks for watching. Good week 9 in football. As always, Mike and myself returning next Sunday. So we will see you then. And thanks for watching once again. Let's go football.
Let's go football, dude.
Let's go football.
I got to run. I'll make a clip